Okay friends, welcome back to my Savannah travel album. We are jumping right into a continuation of part 4 here. So you can see on the left hand side there I finished my stenciling for my beach pocket, and now I'm adding my journaling to the tag. So I printed it out on my Mako sticker paper, which I have saved in my information for the video. And you can see I'm just slowly peeling it off. Pardon me. And I'm using non-stick scissors to cut around it. I find that's the easiest thing. Even though it'll still stick to them, it's better than gumming up your regular scissors. So I just trim around the edge, peel those extra pieces off, and then I'm going to re-punch the hole after I spend a little bit more time smoothing it down with my Cricut tool. I did print it in a navy blue kind of font that would hopefully match the sky a little bit better, just to add a little bit more color. And here I'm debating if I was going to add a little bit of that Heidi Swap washi tape to the bottom like I did in the first pocket, and I decided to go ahead and do it just to add a little bit more color, and why not, right? It's for fun. So I'm going to stick that in there, see what I think, how I like it, and then I have actually stickered over the hole. So I'm going to grab out some ribbon so I can decide which one I want to go with. If I'm going to do the navy blue again or go with hot pink. And I've decided to really embrace this hot pink in the album. So there I'm punching with my 1/4 power punch. And I'm grabbing one of these vellum pieces to match. And I went with the one that says I left my heart here because I really, really had an amazing day. Pardon me. So I punched the hole larger with the punch again to match, and I'm just trimming the ribbon. It's like a velvet ribbon. I have that saved in my links for you that I got on Amazon. You can buy like a whole pack of like 30 some colors for like $6. It's pretty awesome. So I'm just feeding that through the tag, trimming the edges so that they'll match, and then I'll use my tiny attacher to staple it in place. This time I accidentally stapled into the vellum piece a little too far. I'm trying to stick closer to the top of the tag so the vellum can be moved around. So I just fixed that a little bit off camera. I'm using my 1/8 inch red line tape to adhere to the back of the pocket so that I can stick it down to the photo. I'm just going to remove the pieces there, clean up a little bit because I realized I had a little bit of a mess going on. And I realized that I didn't want to try to adhere these two photos back to back with a really large thick pocket on the back. So I adhere those together, get the holes repunched, and then now I'm going to finish removing that red line tape and get the pocket attached down. So I'm just eyeing that up, realized it was slightly further left than I wanted, and now I'm gonna put that down. Okay friends, so I've been doing a little experimenting here. My original thought was that maybe I would use this physical copy of this, I think it's like almost 4 by 8 1/4 pattern paper from the Begin story kit from Ali Edwards. And I really liked it, but I was struggling with the fact that it had this details on here, and I think it was kind of limiting how I could add my journaling, like if it would be in a circle or if it would be more rectangular, if I could add anything to it, how I would like number it, because I thought maybe some puffy numbers would be really cute. So what I decided to do was scrap that physically, and I don't want to forget to take this out of here. So I was playing with something on the other side of it, but I think I'm gonna save the physical copy, and I printed out a digital version where I just kind of used my Clun tool in Photoshop and got rid of the details part and added some digital word art from Ali that is very, very old. This is Words of the Sea. It's ancient. It doesn't exist on her site anymore, but I was able to put Atlantic Ocean on here and just a little bit of journaling, just saying how like it was wonderful to capture my friend with her family, and then how we kind of spent our day looking for seashells, watching for shark teeth, playing in the waves kind of thing. Sorry. So what I'd like to do is I have these 2 sets of stamps from Studio Calico's kits over the summer so sorry. This one is designed by In a Creative Bubble, and this one is Sierra Martinez. And they both, like, this one had some starfish and a little mini shell. I just thought it was really darling. But this one is the one I think I'm leaning more towards using. And I was also experimenting a little bit with some stamping colors from Tim Holtz. So this is the Picked Raspberry. I don't think I'm going to use this. It's too close in color, but I just wanted to see honestly how the Distress Oxide inks would work on the photo paper that I use, because I don't really ever stamp with them on photo paper, and they come up with this like really cool mottled oxide-y look, obviously. But these are what I what I was playing with here. So I've got Broken China, which I can also pull over my samples here. So we've got the Broken China, the Chipped Sapphire, the Uncharted Mariner, and then my Pumice Stone I grabbed because the waves kind of have that sort of color to them. The Pumice Stone Sand Dollar came out way too light. I was hoping it would build more opaquely on top of here. So I'm eliminating the Pumice Stone. But I just thought I would leave it out to show you what that would look like. And so as I was experimenting with this, I really liked the Uncharted Mariner, but it really only picks up the blue from like this color of the water. The Chipped Sapphire is what I've been using on all my other stamping, but it really picks up the color that my friend is wearing. And it seems to like be the best mid-tone of all the blues. So I was kind of experimenting with that. And I want to add a couple of these little seashells to the different spots here. So I'm thinking that I will use a Sand Dollar. I really like the way that one's stamped out. I really like the Sand Dollar probably up here. And I will use my stamper for this. Put it on the other side. So my Sand Dollar here, and then I want to do one of them that I can layer with. So I was experimenting, and you can't even see it on here. I experimented to see if the Pumice Stone would layer on top of this seashell. It doesn't. But this Broken China layers on top of the Chipped Sapphire really nicely. I also experimented with just black stays on to see how dark that would come out. Don't love that either. It's just too close in tone, but the bright blue on top after it dried looked cool and looked good with the photo. So I think down here, I'm gonna layer these two seashells together. So I'll have the Sand Dollar, the seashell, or the seashell, I'm still deciding. And then I wanna, instead of having one on top, I wanna do something here, which would be smaller. So I'm either gonna do a Sand Dollar that kind of, a starfish that either goes off the edge a little, or I'm gonna pull over one of these little smaller guys. So, and this is like an outline version of this, but I kind of thought maybe just going for the outline would be cool. So we'll see. So I'm gonna grab my stamping platform and get to work on those. And then I hadn't even planned to do this, but it might work out perfectly. I have these two photos back to back that I was going to just punch and let them be 7 by 8 1/4. And then I thought, you know, okay, I can add this to the outside and do something really fun with it. But the way this printed, it's kind of perfect because I had printed a grayscale stroke on here, so I'd know where to cut it out. I might actually mount this to the whole sheet of paper, so it'll give me a nice sturdy base, trim off the edges, and then I have something that I can mount the other side to as well. It'll be a lot more stable than just like a little piece in the middle, if that makes any sense, because this would be weaker, so it'll just be a little bit thicker, but that's fine with me. So I'm going to move this over and get started on the stamping. Really looking forward to this. Okay, so one of the first things that we're going to do is pull out my stamping platform, and I'm going to line up my Sand Dollar, ink it, and stamp it. And I start to get a little bit frustrated here. So I think what's happening, and it's hard to tell here, but I kind of show you there for a brief second, the colors are way off. I think that they're reacting to the fact that there's a different color ink on my paper. So they're oxidizing a very strange color. So I ended up redoing them on plain white paper, cutting them out, and
stickering over top of the other ones because I really wanted them to be the right color blue. So after I did all that work, then I'm sticking these together and herring them down and trimming off those edges like I had discussed in the walkthrough portion of the video. And I'm really happy with how this came out. I love the bright colors and the fun pops of color from the actual page itself. So getting the holes punched, and that piece is completely done. So now I'm getting ready to work on the back half. So you can see there, I printed out journaling for adding to the right side of the photo of one of the girls in a light blue. I pulled out the photo and picked a color from the sky that I liked that was very light but wasn't plain white either. So I'm actually adding the adhesive in different places here in layers. So I'm adding to the outside, then the sides. I haven't done the back piece at all because it's going to get covered with another photo. I'm attaching down the side where the holes are and then finishing off the bottom and the top. Hopefully all that makes sense. And then finishing the middle piece. So because I'm just layering it over top of the other one. If I had known I was going to do this, I would have printed them all together, basically. So repunching those holes. And now I'm going to take this 3x4 card from Studio Calico and I'm going to layer it down there in the bottom part, and I'm going to use the word discover. That's from Heidi Swap's Sun Chaser collection, and that's from American Crafts, the foam thickers, I guess. So I'm using foam tape to pop this up, putting that down. I wanted to make sure that the card was centered like I needed it to be, and then have room for the word in between. I considered a few others, and there's a whole other sheet that's off camera, but I really liked the Discover and the color here, and I thought that that would work well, and I just left it as simple as that. I really wanted the photo to shine. So here I'm showing you what I'm going to be doing for this wooden heart. I did a test with a salty air stamp because I knew I was going to cover it with another shell that I decided to stamp off camera. I wanted to bring some pink and one of the blue shell colors over to the right side of this layout, and I'm taking this very old Ali Edwards stamp set, and the text box at the bottom says love the beach, period, love the beach, over and over and over again. So I'm going to stamp in blue in the background on this wooden stamp, but I wanted to make sure that the ink wouldn't completely smear off. So I did a test with that tiny little salty air stamp, thinking that if it didn't work, at least I could cover that with the seashell and be done. But it worked just fine. So I'm stamping it down. And I was about to go into the second one, and then I realized that the bottom right part of the text stamped in, and I didn't want to cross over it. So I'm kind of wiping off some of the ink of the top line so I'll have an even line to work with. I apologize, it's just below or off camera a tiny bit there. So I'm just kind of rubbing it off with my thumb there, and then just lining it up the best I can. The middle one is going to get double stamped. It's the only way I could line it up to make sure it was being stamped correctly, but it looks fine and good enough for me. So I had to let this dry for quite a while, and then I'm going to adhere that stamped seashell on the outside and use red line tape to adhere it down. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going back to creating another one of these circle treatments. So this one says living my bucket list, and I wrote that because this is one of the places that I had researched and wanted to go when I was looking up Savannah, and it worked out really well. So then I have another half circle from the 2021 Ali Edwards travel collection. The wood veneer is from Colorcast Designs, and the Let's Go, again, I'm not sure exactly which kit these words from Ali are from, but I don't need to do the vellum circles and all the other treatments that I did with the last one because it's not going to be see-through. It's just sitting on this pocket here. It's going to be in a page protector. I don't need to worry quite as much about the adhesives. So now I'm jumping back over to this flip out photo page, trying to determine which of these cards from the Studio Calico kit I'm going to use, and I decided to go with that one. It was larger. The colors reflect the one on the right hand side more. And these chipboard pieces are from the same set. One says tastes like summer, and the other one says yum, tastes so good, or something like that. And I just thought that those were cute and helped bring all those red and yellow colors from both sides of the layout together to draw your eye around. So here I finally decided what I wanted to do with this title card. I looked at all these letter stickers that I had, and then once I had pulled out this stamp set, I realized that stamping the word beach would be perfect. So once again, I'm using the chipped sapphire, but I did consider other blues just in case something else would look better. But I just figured with the corals and the pinks being as bright and as dark as they were, a lighter blue might not look very good. Even if with the photos there were lighter blues, I figured this would look better. So a little bit of my ink got in between the center of the letter there, so I was just wiping that out. And I'm going to stamp a couple times here just to make sure it's really well inked up and looks good. I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I'm cutting another piece of Cocoa Vanilla pattern paper. This is from their Midnight collection. It's got these pinks, orangey corals, and a little bit of a blue sprinkled in there, so it really matched that card very well. This is going to be on the inside of the flip out, but I'm just going through some of my Ali Edwards chipboard looking for a fun piece to put on there. So I looked at the Serious Love This Part tag, the Ready Set Go tag, the Best Days with My Best Friends tag, and then finally I'm going to go with this July Joys heart. It was like the perfect blue to match the beach card, so I adhered it to the outside of the page protector, trimmed the card down just a little bit so it would fit better, and then slid that into the pocket. And I really like how that came out. Here I'm using some tabs from the 2018 travel collection. They both say this story, so one's in navy and one's in tan. So I left the navy one the full thickness with the adhesive on it, and I ripped off all the extra layers of the tan one so that it's not so thick. So what I'm doing is adding some red line adhesive to the tan one that's upside down right now. I'm going to peel off the back of the blue one, attach it to the outside, and now I'm peeling off that red line tape and adhering that to the back of the blue. But it was still hanging kind of precariously off the edge, so I decided to grab my tiny attacher and put a staple in there just for security. But I'm just showing you a little bit of close-up there. Really like the way that those came out and helped pull in the colors again with everything that I have going on here. So there we are finally, after this thing has dried, after hours and hours of me going back and forth working on this project, getting this heart back in place, keeping the embellishments really simple, but I'm really happy with all the choices that I've been making so far in the album. I said my goal was to work with some really bright, fun colors, and I think I've been achieving that. So then I decided to finally figure out if I could put something on this photo of myself. I added this tag. It's a really old Ali Edwards set. I'd have to look at which one it's from, but it says So Much Fun. And I just thought I've been going with a lot of tags. It would be a good one to use up. And so I'm going to add a little bit of pink ribbon to it from my Tim Holtz set here. I just had the right color pink that I needed that wasn't from my Amazon set. So I'm going to punch the hole slightly larger with my quarter punch, which goes through chipboard just great. Like I said, I have that saved in my Amazon links if you are interested in one. People ask about single power punches all the time. I highly recommend it. I'm attaching the ribbon down with my stapler, adhering the back, pulling the back off and adhering it to the photo. So finally, I'm getting ready to work on this last page, and I'm just adding one of these hearts from the wood veneer pack and an orange chipboard heart on top of it.
Okay, friends, I'm excited to show you all the photos from our beach day and everything put together here. This was probably one of my favorite parts of the project so far. I really loved it. Used this giant hot pink plastic geotag here to point down to the lighthouse in North Beach where we were. Not sure where that came from or what kit. I have a feeling it's Studio Calico, but I honestly have no idea. But I backed it in white so that it wasn't translucent, so that it could be standing out more against the map. Use this little chipboard piece here. I'll have to look at what kit this is from. This is so old. I honestly have no idea. And this is some Tim Holtz trim here. Love the way this came out using this stamp set. This is an older one from Ali. I'm not sure how old this is. I've started dating my more recent stamps so that I can keep track of them, but this one's pretty old. It's all beach themed. So I thought that that came out really well. Use these little tabs here from the 2018 travel set together some of this pattern paper and this blue from the July Stories by the Month kit. I really enjoyed because that came out like perfect. So I love having the flip out and a little bit of interactivity. Kept this one really simple. Had all the photos that I wanted to include, but they were a little bit busy, so just decided to keep it simple, tie in, you know, a bright and colorful card across from a bright and colorful card. Love the way that this came out with a little bit of a light blue background. I chose that color from somewhere in the sky over here. I didn't want to be plain white, so added that little bit of journaling, popped that card up on pop tape if you saw. And I also really love this spread, as simple as it is. I love the way that this page came out. It took me a lot of do-overs to get these stamps to look the way I wanted. Did the stamping on here using that same set with the background is smearing just the tiniest bit. I had a piece of paper on there to make sure it wasn't going to rub over onto my photo on the other side, but I think it has dried. It's just kind of faded a bit, but which is fine. I'm not super worried about it, but I just wanted to add a little bit of something to it. And then you saw this page being created. I really love the look of these starfish on there, and then the tag. Once this album's completely done, I actually might leave this tag on the outside because it can be shifted over a little bit, because I really love this day so much. But for now, just to prevent any kind of damage or tearing, because it is only vellum, I'm gonna leave it tucked inside for now. And then I really love how I recreated this here. I have at least one more planned here with the supplies that I've got set aside, if not two of them, but one more for sure. And that was the throwback to this one here. Did the exact same treatment on it. And then on the back, just kept this one really nice and simple. Ended up adding one more photo off camera just because I couldn't figure out any more journaling cards or didn't really have that much more to say. And added another one of these wooden hearts, a chipboard heart from one of the scrapbook kits. And so I have one more of those left that I want to try to use the day we went on our dolphin excursion, because it'll be a nice minty kind of oceany color. So just for consistency and trying to use up all the products. So overall, I'm really happy with how this album's coming together, and loving the creativity, playing with some techniques that I've wanted to do for a while, and just really enjoying it. So hope you're having fun working along with it with me. So bye for now.